Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the More of a Six podcast. This weekend, it's just me and Kyle. We're going to be reviewing the 10 games of the week so far, or the 10 games of the week of the kind of Boxing Day to Christmas festive games. Kyle, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. Obviously, I'm sure we'll kind of go over the MOAVI derby, the Crystal Palace versus Tottenham game. Wasn't a very good game, to be honest. It was a bit of a tough watch, but yeah, I'm thrilled with the result. How are you, Charlie? How are you doing?
I'm so happy, mate. It was such a great watch, and Crystal Palace have been brilliant lately. We've had a great couple of weeks. No, it's not ideal, but we'll get to it later. We're going to start at Forest v City. Manchester City went away to Nottingham Forest, and after a cagey first half that lacked any goals, lots of action, but not many goals, Man City broke through early with a 48th minute goal from Tijani Reinders before Hutchinson equalised for Forest just 6 minutes later. And then Ryan Shirky with a right-footed volley, beautiful finish. I don't know if you've seen that, Kyle. Gave City the lead as they kept ticking over. And that win keeps them, even in second, just 2 points behind City. Obviously, with this big game coming up in the week, Carl, between Arsenal and Villa, obviously we'll speak about that more when we get to Arsenal and Villa. How important was it for City, with obviously potential for either of those teams to drop points, to just keep up the pace? And what did you think of their performance yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it was 1-1, and especially at Nottingham Forest, where it can be quite a difficult place to go to, and especially with Sean Dyche as the manager, he's very drilled, very well disciplined. He makes his side. I think there was potential for there to be quite like a banana skin there for them to drop points. And it was looking that way as well, because they didn't score until like the 84th minute, wasn't it? It was really late on. It was all tied. It was all tied for quite a while. But yeah. But I mean, that Ryan Cherky finish, the fact that that's on his weaker foot as well is just a joke.
Does he have a weak foot?
That's what I mean. Like at this point, he really doesn't. Yeah, he's just been unbelievable the last couple of weeks. He's really stepped up when City have needed them, and I think as a result of that, they're flying at the moment. They're doing really well. They look quite convincing when they're playing. I think this season and last season, especially when they have been playing, they haven't looked as cutthroat as what we're used to seeing them as. But I think the last couple of weeks they have stepped it up a bit, and maybe that's because they can see a little bit of uncertainty with Arsenal and how they're playing at the moment, and they see this is a good opportunity for us to climb the table. Yeah, that was a huge 3 points them desperately needed.
100%. And I think I said it a couple of weeks ago. We were kind of previewing Palace going home to City. Obviously, we did lose that game 3-0. It just feels like they're getting into that flow state that they do get into at this kind of stage of the season. Most seasons, they kind of maybe have like a little bit of a rocky game here and there in the early parts of the season. Obviously, they lost to you at home. They weren't like flawless at the start of that campaign, but it kind of seems like everything's falling into place. Foden and Shirky really come into form. Foden was really good yesterday. It was yesterday, sorry. Yesterday again. I don't know if you saw a really good save by Jean-Victor with his feet, but fashioned that chance really well. Sharp first touch and almost got the finish off. Reinders just doing his thing as well. Gonzalez has been a lot better over the last few weeks. I think City, everything's pointing towards a City title win. I think that they're going to do it.
What was your thoughts on the I can't remember specifically how it kind of took place or like how it unfolded, but for the second goal there was loads of stuff online from particularly Forest fans basically saying that Morgan Gibbs, it should have been disallowed or something like that.
That was outrageous.
I don't understand.
Not a chance. I mean, I thought Nico O'Reilly literally just stood there. Morgan Gibbs pulls his arm in and then hooks his foot round him and throws himself to the floor. There's just absolutely if a Forest fan is seriously trying to, suggest that's a foul, then they just don't know anything about football, or they are completely blinded by bars, because that is never a foul. Not a chance. And to be honest, I think the better team won on the day. Forest weren't bad at all, and they have been much better under Dyche, but City, like I said, just seem to be entering that flow state. Well, I'll ask a question later about the title, because we're going to move on now to another one of the title contenders. I was absolutely gutted to see Arsenal beat Brighton 2-1 at the Emirates. Martin Odegaard came into the lineup, obviously recently returning from injury, scored just after 14 minutes. Some brilliant movement, I think, from him just on the edge of the box, just kind of let the play go past him, dropped off, nice little touch into the near post bottom corner. And then Jorginho Rutter with a brilliant finish, really. Great header at the near post for another set-piece goal and another own goal for Arsenal. Seems to be a bit of a trend lately. Gomez lashed a really nice finish in just after the hour mark, but it ultimately a late chance, brilliant save, to be fair, from David Raya following Minter's effort meant that Brighton couldn't get anything from this game and Arsenal won in a tight game and also what could kind of be marked down as maybe a potential banana skin. Once again, just keeping it ticking over. What did you make of that, Kyle? And do you think that the longer it goes on, the more it kind of seems like Arsenal could be serious contenders? Obviously they are, but like really push City all the way.
First of all, I've just seen your tag. You are a disgusting man. I've just seen that. Yeah,
I didn't do that. Oh no, it automatically
well, I
did that.
didn't
I'll
do
take
it.
that off right now. I'll take it off right now. It did it automatically. It must just know. I'll get rid of that. That's
Yeah,
inappropriate.
right.
Anyway,
I think the last couple of weeks I've been saying that cracks have been showing potentially with Arsenal, and it's not just because like, I dislike Arsenal and that I'm a Spurs fan, and I think it's probably coming quite boring saying cracks are showing this week and they go on to win next week and the week after. But the last couple of matches they have played, they've just not looked very convincing. You know, I think what was it, 4 own goals during December for Arsenal, which is crazy. I think that would actually be like their top goal scorer during December. So it's just not very convincing. And I think if you're Villa at the moment, who just look on fire, we'll go on to them shortly, I would imagine. If you're Villa seeing this, you would definitely fancy your chances, especially now there are 11 games on the trot with wins. You definitely fancy your chances. I think, is Timber still injured as well? I'm not sure how long that knock
let me have
is.
a
He didn't
look.
play. He didn't play against Brighton because he was injured, but I wonder if it was like a precaution or...
So he wasn't on the bench either. It's saying at the moment knock, doubtful. So it's like he'll probably be back in the next few weeks, I think.
So, I mean, if they're without him for the Villa game, then that's a huge loss because Villa do just look fantastic at the moment and definitely fancy their chances. I know they're having to go to the Emirates, which is a hard place to go to, but I honestly do think I do fancy their chances.
Well, I mean, we've said, haven't we, like kind of repeatedly, and the cracks are showing. Again, part of that is probably that we all quite dislike Arsenal as a club and probably don't want to see them do well. But I think that I just can see everything pointing towards Arsenal losing that perfect unbeaten home record in the Premier League this season in the week. I just think Villa, this momentum they've got, obviously, as we said, we'll speak about them when we discuss the game against Chelsea in a minute, but this momentum is just unprecedented. The first time since 1914, since they've won 11 games in a row. Outrageous from Emery. And I actually want to pose a question to you, just because we're on the topic of Arsenal. And obviously, this title charge and who's involved and who could be potentially pushing for that league title. Do you think that if Unai Emery had stayed at Arsenal until now, he would have won a Premier League title?
Yeah, I would say so. The fact that I'm not going to, I don't mean it as in like, oh, this Villa squad as if they're some poor side, because they're not. They're a very good side and there's some very good players. But if you compare them to the teams that they're in and around at the moment, your Arsenals, your Man Cities, your Chelsea, you know, all these teams that have much better squad depth, you would say. They've spent a lot more money. Yet Villa spent a lot of money on their wages, but from an expenditure point of view for transfers, the other teams around them have spent a lot more.
They've kind of also been unable to spend last few years, right? Obviously had to sell Jacob Ramsey, pure profit reasons, and for that reasons they could bring Guisson in the summer, but then they make stupid decisions like bringing Sancho in on loan, which to me just made no sense, especially when they brought in Harvey Elliott as well. Players like that just take so many wages. So they are reasons why they can't spend, but the fact that he's just done what he has with Villa is just outrageous. I also think, I might throw it out there, I feel like they could be in an even better position right now if John Duran hadn't moved on in the summer, because, or was it last January that he left?
I think it was in January. I think it was a January transfer.
Like, that was such a weird one, wasn't it? Because it's the money that they were offered. For PSR reasons, you can't turn that down, but he is special, and he could have been so good for them. But yeah, we'll move on to Villa, like I said. But for now, yeah, I think the conclusion on Arsenal is they keep it ticking. Look, maybe in the end, the injuries might... The problem is with Arsenal is they have a very good squad, and I feel like that would be fair to say, but they do have 2 or 3 players who are almost to an extent given what they do for them, irreplaceable. In Rice, I would say, is irreplaceable for them. If he got an injury, big problems for them in the middle of the pitch. Obviously, Zubamendi probably as well. Has been phenomenal. Saka less so now because Madueke's really shone when he's come in. But yeah, I feel like Rice, Zubamendi, either of those get injured, it could be a problem for them. And obviously a big game in the week. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. And I'm really excited for that game. I will be watching. Is it on New Year's Eve? Should I have a look?
I'm not sure.
I have a look. I'll have a look. One moment. No, it's Tuesday night. I will be watching that. 8:15 kickoff. Yes, sir.
Nice. Tuesday night.
I will be on that. That's perfect. After 6-side, that'd be beautiful. Okay, we're going to move on now to the next game from Saturday. We're going to kind of do it in chronological order this week. So obviously, we'll speak about Chelsea Villa at the end of all the Saturday games. And next up is Brentford v Bournemouth. I haven't been shy on the podcast, and obviously, maybe got a bit of stick in the TikTok comments on my take on Brentford and their potential relegation. That is definitely not going to happen. Maybe a little bit of rage bait from me there, or just I'm an idiot. You guys can choose. Brentford won 4-1 against a pretty poor Bournemouth side. Goals from Kevin Schade, perfect hat-trick, by the way, in the 7th, 51st, and then completed in the 96th, and an own goal from Petrovic, who had, once again, what could definitely be described as an extremely questionable goalkeeping performance. Maybe he's had far too many of this season, I would say. Mena kind of pulled one back at 3-0 for Bournemouth, but obviously the late goal from Schade kind of finished off for them. Brentford looked really good. Igor Thiago was brilliant, which is like, aside from scoring, I think he was really good at linking up. A couple, I think 2 really good assists, maybe 1. No, it was a really good assist, and then obviously played his part massively for the own goal. Brentford, looked really good, and there's problems with Bournemouth. I think it's no wins in their last 9. Which is obviously a big issue. Is it 9, 1, 2? Oh, this is bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9. 9 games without a win for Bournemouth in all comps. Wow. Pretty terrible. Obviously, they had a great start to the season, so maybe it's kind of not being paid as much attention to. What did you make of the game, Comfort? Do you think that they will stay up? Bournemouth, are there problems there? Maybe Iraola isn't this messiah of attacking football that everyone made him out to be.
Well, to be fair, you are not the only person who said that like Brentford should be going down, because if you remember in our one of our first episodes where we did our season's predictions, I said that Brentford would go down because I was just unsure about the new manager coming in, losing Wissa and Buemo, which, to be honest, I think is a reasonable explanation as to why I thought that, to be honest. Obviously, they've proven me wrong and a lot of other people wrong. They've been playing really well. Yeah, including you, mate. They did look really good. Thiago, I'm just loving kind of traditional number 9s being back in trend again, rather than like these kind of wingers turned strikers that we went through a phase of having for quite a while. I just like number 9s where it's just big lad up facing away from the goal, chesting it, controlling it down, laying it off to the wingers or the players around them. Quite a few times he did that with Schade or Damsgaard, for example. Bournemouth, is it maybe that like he doesn't have a kind of second, like a plan B almost, like this kind of transition team where they just hit teams on the counter, which is what Semenyo is so good at, just hitting teams in. It's just all of this chaos and like this explosive speed he has and this ball carrying ability that he has. Is it a case of when they do face a side that are quite defensively disciplined and don't get caught out on transition as much, they struggle? I don't know if that's just, I mean,
they were terrifying on the counter-attack, Brentford. Like, it was almost every time that they got the ball in transition, it looked like they were going to get like basically a one-on-one with the keeper. I think that's a combination of a lot of things though, right? It's a combination of Bournemouth wanting to play this football where they are like constantly going for it. Like we saw that game against Manchester United a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if we did a podcast after that weekend, but that was just fucking insane as a football match. I don't know if you watched that, but it was brilliant to watch.
It was very good.
Which is great because it was like such a great game because United have to go for it because they're at home at Old Trafford. They're Manchester United. Bournemouth are going to go for it because they always do. It was always going to be an absolute clanger, that game. 4-4 was obviously outrageous. But yeah, just today, I think they just concede far too many goals. When you really think about it, like 4 against the United side. Yeah, United have been a lot better this season and they're actually kind of growing into the season very well, I think. But then it's weird because then like they get a clean sheet against Chelsea and they only concede one against Everton, one against Burnley, and they've been in very like fine margin games quite a few weeks in a row. And then today or yesterday even they got absolutely battered. Kevin Schade is a really weird player, I think. I want to get your view on this because he kind of has games where you're like, yeah, this kid's the real deal. And then you'll watch him another time and he looks like Chris Brunt. And not disrespectful to Chris Brunt, proper Barclaysman, hell of a left foot. But like, there's like, levels and like his inconsistency, I think, is the main problem. Do you think that he's a player, kind of like Wissa and Mbeumo have become that could get like a big move away from Brentford? And if so, kind of what does he need to add to his game?
Well, he was actually linked to us in the summer, Kevin Schade, and quite like strong links as well, because obviously Thomas Frank coming over to Tottenham, us Mbeumo going to United, Wissa going to Newcastle. There was always kind of that possibility of Thomas Frank bringing one of his ex-players along with him. So he was actually linked with us for quite a while. He's an extremely similar profile, I believe, to Brennan Johnson. Very good finisher of the ball, but maybe his on the ball ability, like his dribbling, taking on his man, kind of those moments of flair or like individual skill to get out of situations, maybe that's what he lacks, and maybe that's what is kind of keeping him from reaching the next level, as you say, and earning that big move. Because his finishing ability, I know he'd only scored 3 goals before yesterday's game, so he's now on 6 in total, so he's doubled his total in the space of a game, but his finishing ability is second to none. I don't think anyone can really question his ability in and around the box. He's a very good finisher. It's just maybe his actual on the ball ability when he's facing up against a player, facing up against the defender, is somewhere which he could probably improve on. But he's only 23,
maybe creatively as well.
No,
maybe
absolutely.
like creating chances and being able to beat a man like kind of straight up instead of running off the back of them. I've actually got a question for you. Based on the game. Little quiz question, a little bit of fun. Kevin Schade scored a perfect hat-trick for Brentford yesterday. There are 3 current active Premier League players that have scored a perfect hat-trick. All of them was 2020 and onwards. How many of them can you name? So they're all currently at Premier League clubs.
You know what? This is a complete guess for one of them, but Cole Palmer, when he scored 4 against Wolves, is he one of them?
Cole Palmer is not one of the answers, no.
Or it's going to be Haaland, maybe. He scored so many. Surely he scored.
Haaland is correct against Nottingham Forest in 2022. You got 2 others. One had a very good weekend this weekend, that's what I'll say.
Oh, is Ollie Watkins one of them?
Ollie Watkins is another one of them. He scored 3, a perfect hat-trick even against Liverpool in that absolute drubbing. In 2020.
It's a bit of a outside shout. Is Chris Wood one of them?
He's not. I'll give you a clue for the last guess.
All right.
He is currently signed to a Premier League club, but he is very much out of the picture and kind of like will not play for his club this year.
Mohamed Salah?
No.
The
answer is Raheem Sterling, also in 2022 against Norwich City. So there you go.
Was still in the Premier League, to be honest with you. I thought he might have been out on loan somewhere.
There are only 36 players now that have scored a perfect hat-trick in the Premier League. The rest of the list includes Aguero, Mahrez, Lukaku, Kevin Nolan, Demba Ba, Edin Dzeko, Louis Saha, Didier Drogba, and Gabriel Bonlaurent, to name a few. But that's enough of the perfect hat-trick talk even. We're going to move on now to the 4th game of Saturday. Burnley v Everton ended 0-0. We're now going to move on to the 5th game of Saturday. Liverpool beat Wolves 2-1 in a game where Florian Wirtz scored a goal. What? Crazy. He scored just a minute after his teammate Ryan Gravenberch. A brilliant bit of work from Ekitike, by the way. That is an outrageous assist. This guy is a real deal. Unbelievable footballer. Great little jink round the player and then slid it in for Florian Wirtz, who took a first touch and then poked it past the keeper. Earlier on in the second half, Wolves got a goal through Santiago Bueno, one of their 4 Buenos, I think. The game ended 2-1. Wolves are going down. I think obviously everyone knows that. It's kind of not really a talking point anymore. But are they the weirdest team in the Premier League in the sense that they kind of don't really ever get battered by anyone, but they just lose every week? They always lose by like a goal, no? It's weird.
Well, I think Rob Edwards actually said something along the lines of that, we're playing well, but we're still losing. And it's you could play brilliantly, but if you're not winning games and in like a relegation scrap, then you might as well have turned up and been absolutely awful, because you just need results one way or another. But the thing is, when you actually look at the Wolves team, there's actually a fair few players who you'd maybe say, like, I think Gomez, Andre, they will definitely be.
Mate, I'm not sold. And also I feel like you can really tell like the character of a player, and a big thing for big clubs is like how they can deal with the pressure of and the like kind of when the going gets tough. And I feel like so many of that squad have just checked out already, and did months ago, to be honest. I thought I've seen a lot of Wolves fans say online that he just runs around a lot and kind of really doesn't do much else. Joao Gomez is brilliant. We've been linked to Joao Gomez and Strand Larsen in January moves. Joao Gomez wouldn't really make much sense, I don't think, because he's probably going to cost us a pretty penny, and he's kind of not the answer to the problems we have at the moment. Neither really is Strand Larsen. Yeah, just to build on what I said a minute ago. The sense Rob Edwards has come in, they've lost every game. 2-0 at home to Palace, 1-0 away at Villa, it's not bad. 1-0 at home to Forest, obviously 4-1 against United. Not ideal, really, is it? But then, apart from that United game, they've not lost by more than 2-1. They got 2-1 away at Arsenal, 2-0 at home to Brentford, and then 2-1 away at Anfield. So, like, they're not. It's weird, isn't it? That's what I'm saying. It's like, have we ever seen a Premier League team get so little points but actually kind of be competitive in games so often? Like, when I think back to Southampton last season, they just got battered every week, right? They would get like 3 or 4 whack past them. They'd be so uncompetitive and they wouldn't even be in games. And yeah, it's dire, isn't it? Liverpool, though, have picked up form lately, it would be fair to say. Obviously, the performances are not much better, and a lot of Liverpool fans will say that themselves, and maybe the results, when you look at them on paper, kind of paper over some of the cracks. But you've got a 2-1 win against Wolves at home, you've got a 2-1 win away at Spurs, a 2-0 win at home against Brighton, a 1-0 win away at Inter, 3-3 draw away at Leeds, which actually is not a bad result, by the way. I don't know who would lose 4-1 away at Leeds, but yeah, Leeds isn't an easy place to go. And then we've got Sunderland at home, 1-1. So they've had some tricky fixtures there, and they've been picking up points again. What do you think the limit is for Liverpool this season, realistically now? Obviously, they dropped so many points. I think it was like 7 losses in a row or something in all competitions. But they've kind of grown back into it. You've got players like Birch maybe finally like hitting goal-scoring form. I think he's been a good player all season, personally. I feel like people that say that he's been bad, kind of lazy. I haven't really watched him much. But yeah, what is like the realistic kind of goal now for Liverpool? Top 4?
Yeah, I just want to add to what you said about Wirtz as well, and I completely agree. I think anyone with eyes would have watched him this season and realised, like, yeah, okay, the goals, the assists are not coming. But if you actually watch his on-the-ball ability and what he's doing, he has made a fair few chances this season, and for whatever reason hasn't got many assists, but he has been decent. But yeah, I think Champions League probably is the highest they can reach, to be honest. I think the league is first place, second place, and third place. They're all kind of gone off on their own. It's them three really now. I think, Chelsea are a little inconsistent. Some weeks they look great, some weeks they don't. Same with Liverpool. They've just been very inconsistent this season. So I think top 4 is more than achievable. And to be honest, it's quite tight for like from 4th to like a couple of places down. It is quite tight. So I think it's more than achievable. I think that's as far as they can really aim, if I'm honest. Not much else going for them, to be fair.
Yeah, I feel like that's a completely fair judgment. I feel like Liverpool kind of maybe finished themselves a bit with that form in that mid part of the kind of middle of the first half of the season. We're going to move on, though. We've got Fulham v West Ham. Fulham went away to the London Stadium, and a kind of toothless performance, really, from West Ham. We just created one big chance. Fulham only created one, but that's all they needed, as Raul Jimenez scored on the 85th minute. A player who's been in quite good form lately, it would be fair to say. And Fulham get more points on the board and move up to level on points with Palace. I just have no idea how the fuck that's happened. And we're also level on points with Brentford. Like, what the fuck are we doing, man? I can't do it. I can't do football on it. But Fulham, another win away from home. West Ham, looking good for West Ham. They're now 5 points away from Forest, who are in 17th, and 7 points away from Leeds, who, by the way, just keep on picking up results. It's really not looking good for West Ham. I need to ask you, Kyle, are they going to go down, West Ham?
Yeah, I think so, especially considering how they've not really kind of capitalised on this moment of where, okay, Leeds are picking up results. We kind of need to match that and start getting results from the games that we're playing. They haven't. Again, it's a strange one. I know how obviously you were shaking your head before about me saying that there is some quality in the Wolves squad that might be picked up next summer. But if West Ham were to go down, actually is like Jared Bowen, if they go down, there is no way he is staying there.
Bowen to
Absolutely
Palace.
no chance.
Who says no?
Probably
Who says
Bowen,
no?
but
No, he wouldn't. Why would he say no?
probably Bowen, but
He almost joined us. He literally was like the deal was done before he went to West Ham, and then West Ham came in last minute, like they did with Flynn Downs, Said Benrahma, literally every player they've ever signed, and he's a West Ham fan, so he went to West Ham. But he was going to be a Palace player, so that's heartbreak. But yeah.
But he'll be off in the summer if they go down. I think Fernandes as well in the midfield. He's been relatively decent the last couple of weeks. You know, Wan-Bissaka will probably get a move as well. It's Juve, he'll get a move. I think a lot of teams will be eyeing up Juve. To be
fair,
come
home, Juve, come home.
Was he meant to go to you guys? I forgot.
Yeah, literally again. We were tracking him for like a year and a half and just never like got it over the line. And then West Ham came in and poached him. It happened literally. It's not like a joke. Like this has been like a long-term thing within the fan base, Palace fan base. Like West Ham do this. Like we are like track a player, like do loads of scouting. Like we're in talks, and then they just come in last minute, pay like $3 million more than us, and take him. And it's like class.
I remember it might have been you or Henry on our group chat, and like you said that you really liked Diouf, and like how I think it might have been Henry had made an article about him or something like that. One of his articles. I'd never really heard of him before his move to West Ham. I'm not going to lie, but yeah, I just think I couldn't even tell you why West Ham are underachieving because they have a decent squad. Definitely one better than the relegation side, and they have a decent manager as well. Nuno is no bum. He knows how to manage a football team. He knows how to make a team defensively sound. And I just don't know why it's not working.
I mean, the West Ham fans aren't happy. I think it'd be fair to say with Nuno, I think as well. I think obviously the problems at West Ham, I think like any smart and logical West Ham fan would agree that they kind of run a lot deeper than the manager of the football club. And they're issues that are going to need to be resolved kind of long term. But it's just, I think the issues are sometimes with the team selections are a little bit strange. Callum Wilson's been in great form and then he just gets dropped. Somerville comes in the 10 and I don't know, like Ollie Scarles at left back again, like they've not got, great options there, obviously with Juve for AFCON, but he made a big mistake for the goal actually, complete miss kick, then gave it back to Harry Wilson who put it on a plate for Jimenez. There's big issues at West Ham, and obviously the results since Nuno came in have not been good. Like they've been categorically poor. And when they appointed him, my first reaction was, "There's no way West Ham will go down. Like they've got far too much quality." But I saw a West Ham fan say that it was a tweet, and they said, "This is the game that makes opposition fans stop saying that we have too much quality to go down." And I feel like I completely get that because it's just not a good showing. Fulham have got better in the last month or so, to be fair, but they started the season very poorly, and I don't think they're an unbelievable side. They're a very beatable side, and those games at home are just ones that you do want to win, unfortunately. But I think it's bad news for West Ham fans, unfortunately. We're going to move on. Chelsea v Villa. Huge game this was for Aston Villa. We're at Chelsea, late kickoff on the Saturday, and of course, Stamford Bridge, not an easy place to go. Chelsea have been a bit inconsistent lately, but they took the lead after 37 minutes through their summer signing, the Brazilian João Pedro. Villa kind of not great, and suddenly, out of nowhere, on comes Ollie Watkins, completely changed the momentum of the game, almost instantly, and scored I guess you could say lucky, maybe, got a little poke in, came back off the keeper, off his knee and in off the post. But you make your own luck. He was making great runs in behind. That was just after an hour. And then he scored with his head to make it 2-1 on the 84th minute and keep Villa chasing the big boys. Just 3 points off the top, 11 wins in a row for the first time since 1914. And Villa are on fire, and they go to Arsenal away on Tuesday night. And I feel like the entirety of the Premier League, unless your team is also playing on Tuesday night, will be watching that game. Kyle, Villa, how good were they when they made that change? How good was Watkins? How much did he impact that game? And is it actually a realistic? Because obviously there is this narrative now, isn't there, about title charge? Can they win the title? Villa out on a title charge, but how realistic is it that they, could win a title? Is it like more of like a, they're up there, so we're going to mention it, or is it like, are they serious contenders? Do you think?
I'd say they're serious contenders. They've got a very good manager. They've got a very good striker in Ollie Watkins. They've got Morgan Rogers, who is absolutely on fire this season, and especially so in this run of games. I mean, his performance the other week against Man United was world class. They've got a good side. Mutson as well has finally kind of cemented himself in the starting lineup. Last couple of weeks, Matty Cash has been playing very well. They have got a decent side. I think with a lot of teams that are outside the traditional big six, who maybe don't have the spending, they don't have the squad depth as compared to, your Arsenals, your Man Cities, Liverpools, etc. I think the issue is always kind of the December period of there being an insanely tight match schedule with a lot of games going on, but they've got past that and they're still looking as good as what they were before it. And they've kind of got out of that period unscathed. And to be honest, probably in a better position now than what they were when they first went into it. So I think as long as they can remain fit, maybe obviously I don't know how much they're going to be able to spend in January, because as we mentioned, they can't spend a lot. They spend a lot of money on wages. But if they have a smart January window, maybe bring in some reinforcements, I think there's no reason to say that they can at least give it a go up until the end of the season. At minimum, get top 4 again. But yeah, do you have them as title contenders, or are you a bit more on the fence with it?
My problem with the current title race and Villa's chances are that Manchester City are going to be so good and so relentless. And Shirky hitting form, he has real superstar kind of feel about him, like best player in a title winning team kind of feel about him. And I think City will not run away with it, but their consistency will just be so relentless that Villa just won't be able to keep up. And I don't think Arsenal will either, to be honest. Arsenal will be up there, but I think it will end. This is a bold prediction, but Henry kind of alluded to it last week or the week before. I think it will be City, Villa, Arsenal come the end of the season, is my prediction.
Do you think?
I do. I feel like City will be relentless. And we know when they hit this flow, it's just every game is like, it's just another game that we're going to win. Do you know what I mean? And I think Villa will ride this form massively for a very long time. Their home form is brilliant. I think there's one home loss all year. And it was obviously the mighty Palace 3-0. But if only we could be that good at the moment. But yeah, that's kind of like my brief, I think, prediction. What about you? If you had to score those 3 right now, you had to put those 3 in order of where they're going to be at the end of the season, where are they going to finish, Kyle? Where are they going to finish?
I'd say City are going to win it. Second, I'd go probably Arsenal, because I just think they have more squad depth than Villa, if anything was to go wrong. And then third, Villa. But I think it will be very tight. And I think it won't just be a straightforward, it's between these two, it's them nailed on for the league. I think that from now until the end of the season, it will be them 3, where you can kind of make an argument or a case for either of the 3 sides going on to win the title, in my opinion.
You can cancel him if you want. It's just his opinion. Like, come on, guys.
Go ahead and cancel it. It's just my opinion.
Can't even have an opinion in the Big 2-5. Almost the Big 2-6. Okay, we're going to move on. 2 big games today, starting with the promoted side derby, let's call it. Sunderland were at home to Leeds. Obviously, them and Arsenal, the only 2 teams that are yet to lose a game at home in the Premier League this season. Leeds coming off the back of a 4-1 win against, I don't remember who they played last weekend at Ellen Road. I think, but one, and they've been on an unbelievable run of form. I think ever since that tweet was sent out, where it was like Daniel Farke has been informed that if he does not pick up results in the next 2 games, he will be sacked. Beat Chelsea 3-1 at home, drew 3-3 at home to Liverpool, drew 1-1 away at Brentford, beat whoever they beat last weekend 4-1. Who? I don't think it was. No, it wouldn't be us. We wouldn't lose 4-1 to Leeds. And then you got 1-1 away at Sunderland, which is a really good result, by the way. And not to mention Dominic Calvert-Lewin, by the way. What on earth is going on with him? 6 games in a row, 6. That's outrageous. A 28th minute goal from a Dingle. Really nice finish, actually. Obviously, he's bounced back well there after the disappointment of missing out on the AFCON squad. Granit Xhaka with an assist, by the way. I wanted to make a little mention for... did you watch this game, by the way, Carl?
I wasn't able to watch this game. This was the only game I've not seen anything of. But still, like, you mentioned what you were going to mention.
I was going to make... No, because I wanted to see what you thought about it. Brendan Aronson, having watched him last weekend in that boring 1-1 draw between Leeds and Crystal Palace at Ellen Road, Brendan Aronson has improved massively since the last time he was in the Premier League. The last time he was in the Premier League, he was dross, right? And I don't know whether the narrative's changed within within the fan base, between like Leeds fans as well. But today, again, he's just so lively and he picks up the ball in such great positions and he's always trying to make stuff happen. And he's much better with using his body and he wins fouls. And I really like Brendan Aronson at the moment for this Leeds side. And I really like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And he is showing that he can also score some decent goals because his movement, he lost Mukiele really well and then ran across him. Great ball from Aronson, really nice finish. Leeds are sharp and they are kind of pulling away, I think, from that bottom three. Brentford obviously have two. You're kind of looking at Bournemouth are down there right now, but they won't be, will they, realistically, at the end of the season? Are Leeds going to stay in the Premier League is my question. Are they going to stay in the Premier League?
Yeah. No, I think so, and I hope so as well. I hope so.
I do too.
They're such a fun side. Their fans are brilliant. Whatever your opinions are with the history of Leeds United throughout their time in the Premier League, their fans are brilliant. Ellen Road is a brilliant stadium as well.
Mate, it's horrible. It's horrible. Obviously, I am going to address the elephant in the room. We didn't draw 1-1 away at Leeds, for anyone that noticed. We lost 4-1, and they absolutely bullied us, mate. I think Henry, our brilliant host, actually put out a tweet that made me laugh very much, and it was extremely accurate. Along the lines of, no, loud stadium, me forget how to kick football. Obviously in a caveman voice. And that was so accurate. We were rattled against them, absolutely rattled. 4 goals from set pieces. They have a weapon and they're using it. And I'm not going to, when it's Arsenal, it's harder to like because they have so much quality that you kind of think you could score goals playing a different way. You could win games playing a different way. But when it's a promoted team and you maybe lack that individual quality amongst the squad, we've seen it so much. Teams come up like Southampton under Russell Martin in the first half of last season. Why are you trying to play that football? Burnley a couple of years ago under Company, obviously it's worked from a bind, but when you don't have the players, you can't play that football coming up to Premier League. Daniel Farker, he's got the fans on his side. He's got the players on his side. They all want to play for him. And they are playing a brand of football that is terrible to watch at home. And I love it. I absolutely love it. That's exactly what you need to do. Get all the big boys in the box, bully the teams that come. The fans get on the away players' backs. That is what you want. I really like this Leeds side, just like you said. And I want them. I want to see them stay up. It did rattle me a bit last week. Obviously, I wasn't, screaming pleasantries at my television. Believe it or not, I didn't make the trip up to Ellen Road on a Saturday night. There was no chance that I'd work the next day. But yeah, I was rattled at the time, but I can now see in hindsight this Leeds team is very likeable, and I want them to stay up. And Carl agrees. So here at More of a Six, we quite like Leeds United. Woo. We're going to move on to the worst game of the match week. Completely boring. Crystal Palace lost 1 Tottenham Hotspur. Anyway, that's going to be the end. No, I'm joking. We obviously have to speak about this game in depth. Obviously, me and Kyle, both fans of the teams involved. I've been a Spurs fan my entire life. I'm joking. But in all seriousness, Kyle, I'll just let you speak. I'll quickly clarify. Archie Gray scored just for half-time. An absolutely brilliant goal, so well worked. His first goal of his career. Obviously, against Crystal Palace, come on. And I actually couldn't make it to the game today. I was halfway there and the car broke down. So I had to get a lift back home and watch it from the TV. And at least it meant I could cry in my sitting room and no one judged me. But Kyle, you watched the game, I assume?
Yep, I did.
Yep.
I did.
Couple questions. Where did it go wrong for Palace? Where did it go right for Spurs? And what do you make of Justin Devaney?
Right, let me start on Justin Devaney because he is listen, I know that there's always going to be that kind of sentimental thing with Palace fans because he's one of your own, right? He came through the Palace Academy, did he not? Or as a very young player, kind of.
Well, his first appearance for the first team was at 20 and we signed him from Ireland about a year and a half before from Cork.
Right. Okay, so
he's kind of, but and he scored on his debut as well. So he's kind of liked for that. Or his first start against Villa away. But yeah, look, I want to see him do well and he's a good lad and he works hard, but I'll let you say what you think.
I mean, it also ties into what I thought went wrong with Palace today, and that was that chance that he had where he kind of swiveled like on the spot, like he had his back towards goal and he just skied it over the bar. And I think the issue with Palace today was that you had so much of the ball, but I can't really remember a time where Vicario really had to be tested.
Just shoot.
Like honestly,
Shoot. He's fucking terrible. He's shit. We know he's shit. No, you agree with me massively. Vicario is a shit goalkeeper. He has mistakes in him. We did not put him under any pressure today at all. Set pieces were terrible. We were going forward terrible. I don't think we made the first contact for a single cross into the box. Danso won everything. Was not even contested for a single set piece. Throw in, cross into the box. We barely had a shot on goal that was of any danger. 1.5 for XG. I don't know where the fuck that came from. Sorry, if you watch that game, it didn't feel like at any point that we were going to score a goal in that game.
no.
Look, it's been a bad week. It's been a bad 2 weeks to be a Palace fan, you know. Obviously, the 3-0 loss at home to City was really hard because we definitely, well, in my opinion, that game wasn't a 3-0, if you know what I mean. So that was tricky. But then, like, it's very frustrating at the moment. You know, the 2-2 draw to Cups, obviously resting our entire team just to go away to Leeds and lose 4-1. And I'll put it in perspective. Our last 7 goals conceded in all competitions. All 7 of our last 7 have been from set pieces. All 7 of our last 7. It's terrible. It's embarrassing. In an age where the current trend in the Premier League is that set pieces are so prevalent and so utilised, and especially for you, like we know that you're one of the better teams in the Prem from set pieces this season. You've scored
second,
it's the second most in the Premier League this season. Everybody knows this, and I think it would be fair to say, you can disagree with me if you want, you're fairly reliant on set pieces, given your kind of inability more generally in other games that I've seen to create chances from open play. Obviously today a couple of disallowed goals, but we'll get onto that. it's just so frustrating. I think Oliver Glasner said last week against Leeds it was embarrassing, and it was embarrassing. No disrespect to Leeds fans. The atmosphere at Ellen Road's great. They deserve to win it on the day massively. We were completely off of it. But realistically, as Crystal Palace, as we are currently, FA Cup champions, the form that we've shown over the last year, this calendar year, we shouldn't be going away to a promoted side and losing 4-1. That just can't happen, right? And especially in the manner that we did. And then the loss away at Arsenal, I was at the Emirates. It's just hard because, we deserved nothing from that game. We kind of created nothing. And then you get one shot on target from a set piece in the 95th minute, and suddenly you lose on pens, and then you feel like you've been robbed, but you obviously haven't. So, it's tricky. But I think that maybe not enough criticism in the direction of Oliver Glasner. I think he is almost immortalised in the fan base, which rightly so. I love the bloke. But I feel like just because he's done so much for us, it doesn't mean he's incapable of making mistakes. And I feel like maybe the lack of criticism would reflect that some people view that he is. Yeah, so I actually want to ask you, Charlison, it seems like he kind of never gets to celebrate a goal. I think Henry said in our group chat earlier, he only ever scores when it's a consolation and a drubbing or it's disallowed. Will he ever celebrate a goal and it stand?
Richarlison is when it comes to scoring goals that mean either absolutely nothing, so when we're already 3-0 down and he scores one off the bench or whatever, or for disallowed goals, he would actually be the best player in the world because he to be fair to him, I criticise him a lot and he's very frustrating at times, but he is a very good finisher of the ball. He gets in the right positions. He's a nuisance. He's a dickhead. And I think, he is an absolute dickhead, but I think teams need a bit of that. I think for quite a while, we were a bit maybe too nice. We didn't have enough dickheads in our team. And Jose Mourinho, actually, in the documentary a few years back on the Amazon Prime documentary, he even said that our squad was too nice, and nice guys don't win anything in football. You need to have characters.
Nice guys always finish last.
He was Jose was a pick me boy. Yeah, you've heard it here first, but you need dickheads in your side to perform well. It was a shame because they were tight. They were very tight. But the overall, the disallowed goals. I thought he had a really good game. He just kind of battled away, scrubbed away up front. He didn't get too many chances, to be honest. He was just kind of feeding off of loose balls or dueling with your centre backs. I think notable standouts would probably be obviously Kevin Danto. 18 defensive contributions.
Mate, he was unreal. He
He,
was unreal. He was really good.
13 clearances, 8 of them being headed ones. He won, I think, 5 out of 7 aerial duels. He was just unbelievable. Very traditional defender, but he's very good at it. And then as well, I was really impressed with Wilson Odobert when he came on. For quite a while in the second half, we just could not get out of our half. You were all over us. We couldn't make it past the halfway line. Odobert came on and he kind of acted as a bit of an outlet. And he was really unlucky not to score an absolute beauty of a goal, to be fair, that hit the post. But I was really impressed with him. Obviously, I'm looking at your face now and you're not too happy. Talk to me about, I want to ask you about this because speaking about Kevin Danso, him and Mateta were going at each other the whole game. And I think it's fair to say that Danso,
he fucking bullied him,
game.
mate. He bullied him. Absolutely bullied him.
What's been going on? What's wrong with Mateta of recent?
More generally, I think it is a massive criticism that I would have of Mateta's game is that he gets bullied like far too easily. For a fella his size, there really aren't many centre-backs in the Premier League that should be pushing him about. He's massive. He's fucking huge. I just don't think he's got the mentality of of a Calvert-Lewin, Calvert-Lewin is I'm going to get in your way. I'm happy to let you scratch me, pull my shirt. Like, he got headbutted last week against us and had like a massive open wound on his head and then scored 2 goals. He's just like a striker that wants to put himself about. Mateta doesn't want to put himself about. He doesn't want to get engaged in physical battles. He wants to, make a defender engage in a physical battle and then try and use his first touch. But again, his first touch was poor today. And I feel like there's a sentiment now amongst the Palace fans. I don't know if you're aware of the injury that he's been carrying.
No, I knew he was a doubt some weeks, but
yeah, so he needs knee surgery basically.
Right.
He'd be out for like 5-6 weeks, but we can't really. Well, the kind of idea is that we can't really afford to give him the surgery because we don't have the players, and as a result, we're trying to nurse him through it. So he's maybe not playing at 100% or being able to give 100% performances. But it's just that makes no sense to me because it's now if you look at it and the performance we've been putting in, he hasn't scored in any game pretty much since he's had this injury. So it just doesn't make sense to keep pushing him through it. Just let him have the surgery. Dan Tasuce has been brilliant when he's had the chance for us lately. He kind of came on and didn't really offer much today. We didn't have much time. Hetty was poor. First touch is just terrible. Oh, it's just not a good time though to be a Palace fan. Tell you, if we lose against Fulham on New Year's Day at home, we are. The season could be a write-off. Genuinely, I feel like this run of form was maybe put us in a position where it's really hard to come back, especially with, now we're entering into a part of the season where we kind of just have the Premier League for a while until mid-January, where we got that.
How mental is it? How mental is it that literally a couple of weeks ago on this pod, we were talking, you and Henry were talking about Crystal Palace and that you guys were saying that oh my God, it's beginning of December, mid-November and we're in 5th place. This is insane. And now it's crazy how opinions and emotions change in football so quickly because literally only a couple of weeks ago, both of you were buzzing about your league position. And now you're saying that next week, if you lose next week's game, the season's a write-off. It's crazy how.
Actually, I don't know why the fuck I've said that. In hindsight, that was a very stupid thing to say. We're 3 points off of 5th. I need to grow up. But the feeling at the moment is it's not necessarily the results and the league position. Obviously, again, 3 points off 5th. You told me that. Oh, I think we're exactly halfway through the season now. No, 18. Or is it? No, we're 18 games in. We've still got one more.
Next on Tuesday is game week 19.
Yeah. So if you told me that 19 games in we'd be 3 points off 5th, I'd be fucking, and not a respectable performance of the Conference League, but we're not out of it, and get to a quarter-final of the Carabao Cup and only lose on pens away at Arsenal. I'd be mate, yeah, that's a class start to our season. We've done really well there, especially balancing all the fixtures. But it's just the performances, City onwards, have just been dire. Leeds was terrible, Cooks was poor, and Arsenal was really we in the end, I felt like that last minute winner kind of papered over. We were terrible against Arsenal. We kind of created nothing all game, and I just let them bully us. And then similar thing today. I feel like maybe you'll disagree. I think it would be fair to say that it was 2 terrible sides out there today, neither of which playing particularly good football. And
I thought we defended well. To be fair, I thought we defended well.
But I don't think that we gave you much to defend. You said in the group chat, Spence had a really good game. Oh, Spencer's been on it again today. He was up against Devaney and Klein. Do you know what I mean? This is a real problem, this right-hand side. As soon as Sarah and Munoz are gone, We just have nothing down that side. And the sooner that we can get Brennan Johnson in, the better. I'm telling you, Big Brenno's going to be a class signing for us. Please, Brennan Johnson, please. We need you. You'll get more than 5 minutes at Selhurst Park.
His cameo that he had when he
He
came
looked
on,
sharp. He looked sharp.
there was 2 or 3 times where he found himself in so much acres of space down that right side.
And he did well with it.
Wasn't able to
put decent ball in, and there was no one there.
Yeah.
I really want Brennan Johnson. I'm just going to say it now, preface it for January. Brennan Johnson, we will love you forever. We will never treat you badly like the Spurs fans have. And you will be the shining light in a soulless Palace side.
To be fair, you say that though, it's only really the online fans that slate him. But if you heard our away fans when he came on, like they were, I don't know if you heard it, but they were
Johnson
like,
again, ole, ole.
And like about Bilbao.
I mean, they did it just after Odegaard hit the post, which I think they thought it was Johnson, which was quite funny. I thought, but yeah, no, look. I think that there's some issues at the moment. Set pieces are a big problem. We're terrible at attacking set pieces out of nowhere as well. For a while, we were quite good. And then now we just like every ball that goes into the box. I don't know if you noticed this today. It's just like no one's anywhere near the first contact ever. And then the one time that we did, Lacroix almost scored. So it's just like,
yeah.
I just I don't want to. I'm sad about football at the moment, but we'll be back, I'm sure. We're approaching an hour now, so I think we're going to call it a day. Lots of goals, lots of fun. I loved football this week and it was so good. But luckily, it's only a few more days until Crystal Palace can ruin my life again. Thank you very much for listening to More of a Six podcast. Kyle, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. See you in the...
Goodbye.
I'll see you next year, guys.